Hi guys, my name's Claudia and today I'm going to be taking you through how to create digital mood boards. So whether you're creating it for a portfolio or you're creating it more so for a photo shoot, mood boards are a great way to really get your ideas down on the page. So looking at the comparison between digital and physical, you may like to create a mood board by hand. I'm not really focusing much on this today, but if you would like to, you can cut out pictures from magazines and draw as shown in the picture in the right. This can be awesome, but we do recommend converting it to digital so that way you can display it on your online portfolio, which you should be creating. So when creating your digital mood board, I recommend using one of these sites. My particular favorites are Canva and Milanote. So Canva is an online design software that you can join for free. You can add images, you can use templates, you can add little color palettes, add elements such as like stickers and kind of paint swatches and things like that. It's really user-friendly and quite easy to use if you've never used anything like it before. And you can also work on it with collaborators. So if you're working in a group, you can kind of join on and work on it together. Milanote's also quite similar. There's very slight differences. You can add in links, which I think will display images, but I do think Canva does the same. You can collaborate, it's free. One of the differences maybe with Milanote is that it already displays your work quite aesthetically. So that means that it's kind of got its own template and design. You don't really change the background, but it nonetheless looks quite pretty. If you find that these two aren't the best options for you, you can also try Mural or Miro, which are also great softwares to use that are all online to create your mood board. So onto what different types of mood boards you might like to create. So when planning for a photo shoot, we don't just create one mood board. We create a styling mood board, a hair and makeup, a photography style, model poses, potential casting, and location. And the reason that we do this is to get a whole rounded view of how each element might look. So if you're a fashion student, even though you'll be doing the styling, it's definitely worthwhile creating a mood board for yourself. But if you're reaching out to a hair and makeup student or artist to work on your shoot, it's really important that you capture the vision that you're looking for beyond just words. You can tell them you want a smoky eye, but what you're going to get on the day could be everything from a soft bridal look all the way to a dark blackout. And it's the same for hair and makeup artists. You can tell a stylist that you want kind of monochrome styling, but what does that actually mean? It's important for you to kind of mood board it out so they can get a sense of what you're looking for. Onto photography style, I'll get to this a bit more later. Model poses is also really important, which I'll kind of touch on in another video, but to put it simply, the last thing you want to be doing is showing a model how to move. I've done this when I was starting out and I not only looked very silly, but it kind of gets everyone a bit confused. It ruins the vibe. It's really good to get pictures down on the paper so the model can kind of have an idea before she even steps on set of what you're looking for. Potential casting, that's a really great one as well to get the vision of who you envisage in your shoot. And location is important as well, whether you're going to be indoors, outdoors, in a studio, which I'll touch on a bit more. So now I'm going to go a little deeper into our top tips for creating your digital mood boards. So first up, it's so important to brainstorm your theme or concept. Think about keywords so that identify your proposal. So think about, is it feminine? Is it soft? Is it neutral, luxurious? Make them quite expressive. Is it bold? Is it edgy? Think about what really encapsulates your vision. So when picking your images, text, and elements for your mood board, don't be afraid to expand past what you might think is typical. So if you're planning a makeup shoot, you don't have to only include pictures of makeup and fashion styled shoots. Similarly with fashion, it doesn't have to be your typical fashion photo shoot. Expand it all the way from like film to art to maybe it's like a picture of a landscape that you saw that inspired a mood that you were kind of thinking. So some of the resources that I would recommend accessing is Pinterest. And for films and TV shows, another good one is Film Grab. You can also just jump onto Netflix and take some screenshots of your favorite films. Another one is Pantone, which is an app, and it's also a website where you can not only get inspired by color palettes, but you can also upload your own image, which can be of anything, and it will pull out the colors for you, which will tell you what your color palette is. You've also got Instagram, which is an awesome resource, Behance, magazines. There's so much to choose from. So below, just as an example of a Pinterest search, I searched for the film Neon Demon, and this shows how a film can work so well in a fashion mood board. So you've got the neon colors and the really overly glam aesthetic. You can even see in a picture there, they've pulled the color palette. So that's what Pantone basically does from one of the images. So yeah, it's a really good way to kind of get out of your head and see what inspires you outside of the fashion, hair, beauty, makeup world. So onto your color palette. I prefer to pick something like between 3 to 5 key colors that really represent my keywords. So what are they tonally? Bright or neutral? Are they dark or moody? As I mentioned before, you should really try to download the app Pantone so you can upload the images and find the colors yourself. But yeah, what are your colors and how will this apply in your mood board? You may like to do this before you pick your images or after, but either way, they should all kind of marry together quite cohesively. Next, think about texture. So texture can add sensations to your image. They don't need to be fabrics, but think about different textures that can reflect the vibe that you're going for. So some examples are pictures like clay, concrete, silk, leaves, rattan, wood. There's so many choices for you. So another way to think about this is if I was creating a mood board for, let's say, like a glossy lip gloss like brand, and they wanted to do a photo shoot. Immediately when I think of gloss, I think of shine. So I would go for something like more of a silky, satiny texture. But in the contrast, if I was working for like an edgy streetwear label, I would be thinking concrete. I would be thinking even like clay or rougher textures that would match the brand. So have a think about how texture could work in your mood board. And this doesn't have to be literal either. This isn't like because I put concrete in, I need to shoot on concrete. It's just kind of getting the mood for you. Okay, so onto your model poses. This one's quite important, I find, because as I said, if you try to demonstrate it on the day, your model can become quite stiff and it can be a little bit awkward. So I recommend creating a mood board of model poses and sending it to them at least one day before, just so they know kind of what shapes you're looking for them to create. So as you can see in my pictures here, there's quite a different level of energy in the images. So you have like Gigi Hadid jumping, whereas you've got other women kind of sitting there more relaxed, more of a sultry vibe. And then on the left, you've got more of like kind of like an edgy or quirky vibe with the model's pose. So have a think about, what kind of movement you'd like from them. Next up, it's super important to consider your photography style. So you might have a bunch of poses in mind, but how will that translate into the photography? That said as well, like for example, with your mood boards of model poses, you may put this pose in, which I've got 3 different examples of a model squatting. But how does that translate based on your photography style? So on the left, you've got something that's more outdoorsy, in natural light, on a location, and I would say it's a lot more boho, kind of beachy. And then in the middle, you've got something that's still got some natural light, but it's so much more glam. The makeup's so much more out there, and the whole photography style is just completely different. And then on the right, you have more of your lookbook kind of studio shoot. So have a think about, how you want your photography style to appear and mood board that out. So whether that's going to your favorite photographers, Instagrams and taking some screenshots, or even your favorite brands and going to their like seasonal shoots, that would also be good to source inspiration. And that brings us to the end of our mood boarding component. If you would like to, and if you haven't yet, we're also creating a video that's about how to plan for a photo shoot. So if you're planning for one, I hope it's useful for you. Thanks for your time.